The first rays of Saturday morning sunlight had me yet burned off the dew when Marcus Reynolds realized his patience had finally run out. For 3 consecutive weekends, his neighbor Vanessa Hartley had transformed his life into a living nightmare. Her oversized midnight blue Cadillac Escalade perpetually parked at the worst possible angle, completely blocking his meticulously maintained 3-car garage. Marcus stood at his front window, coffee mug suspended midair, watching as the expensive SUV jetted diagonally across the shared property line, its rear wheel practically kissing the edge of his pristine concrete driveway. This wasn't just inconsiderate. It was a calculated invasion of his personal space. He tried everything: polite conversations, friendly notes, text messages that oscillated between diplomatic requests and barely restrained frustration. Each attempt was met with the same infuriating response: a combination of dismissive text replies and subsequent repeated violations. "Just move your car a few feet," his last message had read. "You're blocking my entire garage access." Vanessa's response had been brutally succinct: "Not my problem. Find another way." Marcus knew Vanessa, not personally, but through the neighborhood grapevine. She was a high-powered real estate agent in her mid-40s, perpetually dressed in designer labels, driving expensive cars, and seemingly believing the rules didn't apply to her. Her reputation preceded her: aggressive in business, equally aggressive in personal interactions. What she didn't know was that Marcus was no pushover. A former Marine and current cybersecurity consultant, he approached problems methodically. His profession demanded precision, strategic thinking, and the ability to anticipate multiple scenarios before they unfolded. This morning felt different. Something in Marcus had shifted. The repeated invasions of his personal space, the consistent disrespect, the absolute disregard for basic neighborly courtesy, it all culminated in a slow-burning resolve. He pulled out his phone, fingers moving with calculated precision. Several quick messages were sent to his homeowners association, to the local municipal parking enforcement, and to a few carefully selected contacts who would help him document the ongoing harassment. The garage wasn't just a storage space for Marcus. It was his sanctuary, a place where he restored vintage motorcycles, a hobby that provided therapeutic relief from his high-stress professional life. Each unauthorized blockade wasn't just an inconvenience, it was an invasion of his personal passion. As he finished his coffee, Marcus allowed himself a small, determined smile. Vanessa had no idea what was coming. She thought she could bully her way through neighborhood etiquette, treat shared spaces like her personal domain. But today would mark the beginning of a response she would never forget. The garage door opener sat tantalizingly close. Marcus's fingers drummed a steady rhythm on the kitchen counter. Sometimes he knew the most effective solutions required patience, planning, and a willingness to match aggression with something far more strategic. Vanessa Hartley was about to learn that not all battles are won through volume or perceived social status. Some are won through meticulous, surgical precision. And Marcus was just the person to deliver that lesson. By Monday morning, Marcus had transformed his initial frustration into a meticulously crafted plan. His cybersecurity background wasn't just about protecting digital networks, it was about understanding systems, vulnerabilities, and strategic countermoves. The homeowners association had been less than helpful. A board representative had mumbled something about civil disputes and property line gray areas. Local parking enforcement claimed Vanessa wasn't technically violating any city ordinances since a portion of her vehicle was still on her own property. Fine. If official channels wouldn't help, Marcus would create his own solution. He spent Monday evening in his garage workshop, surrounded by an array of electronic components, GPS trackers, and a laptop that looked more like a command center than a typical computer. His fingers moved with the precision of a surgeon, creating a custom device that would make Vanessa's expensive SUV about as useful as a paperweight. Tuesday morning arrived with Marcus feeling a strange calm. He'd installed a small, almost invisible electronic module near the Escalade's computer system. It was perfectly positioned, undetectable to the casual observer, but capable of rendering the vehicle's sophisticated electronics completely inert. When Vanessa attempted to start her car that morning, nothing happened. The SUV's typically responsive touchscreen remained dark. Her key fob produced nothing more than a pathetic, impotent click. At first, she probably thought it was just a dead battery. But this was far more comprehensive. Marcus watched from his window as Vanessa's perfectly manicured hand repeatedly jabbed at the start button. Her designer blazer became increasingly rumpled as she popped the hood, checked the battery, and made frustrated phone calls. He could almost hear her aggressive tone arguing with various support services. By noon, a tow truck arrived. The technician looked confused, then frustrated. Multiple diagnostic tools revealed nothing obviously wrong, yet the vehicle remained completely unresponsive. No error codes. No electrical issues, just a brick of a vehicle worth over $80,000, now completely useless. What Vanessa didn't know was that Marcus had created a custom electronic signature that would make the car's complex computer system believe it was experiencing a complete system failure. No mechanic would easily trace the problem, and any repairs would be costly and time-consuming. This was just the beginning. Marcus allowed himself a rare smile. The first phase of his plan was complete. Vanessa had blocked his garage repeatedly, treating his property with contempt. Now she would understand that actions have consequences, and he was just getting started. The fallout was immediate and delicious. By Wednesday, Vanessa's meticulously crafted professional veneer began to crack. Her real estate clients started canceling appointments as she struggled to maintain mobility. The tow truck had taken her precious Escalade to 3 different mechanics, each more baffled than the last. Marcus overheard snippets of her increasingly heated phone conversations. Her insurance company was becoming suspicious. Words like fraud investigation and electrical anomaly floated across their shared property line. What truly intrigued Marcus was how quickly Vanessa's aggressive demeanor began to unravel. The woman who had once treated neighborhood rules with such cavalier disregard now looked haggard. Her power suits seemed to hang looser, her perfectly coiffed hair less immaculate. The stress was visibly consuming her. A private investigator was her next move. Marcus anticipated this. He already sanitized every digital trace, covered his tracks with the precision of a ghost. His military background and cybersecurity expertise meant he was several steps ahead of any amateur investigation. The neighborhood started to take notice. Whispers spread about Vanessa's suddenly immobilized SUV. Her reputation as the neighborhood's most aggressive real estate agent began to crack. Clients started questioning her reliability, her professional image slowly eroding with each passing day. Marcus knew the psychological warfare was just as important as the technical sabotage. Every moment of uncertainty, every unexplained mechanical failure was a calculated blow to Vanessa's sense of control. When a 4th mechanic called her with another inconclusive report, something in Vanessa snapped. She stormed out of her house, marching toward Marcus's property with the fury of a tornado. Her designer heels clicked in angry rhythm against the concrete, her face a canvas of rage and desperation. Marcus watched from his garage, completely calm. She had no idea that her approach was exactly what he'd been waiting for. The confrontation was about to enter its next phase. Vanessa's approach was like a heat-seeking missile of rage. Marcus could see the trembling of her hands, the way her designer blazer was slightly askew. A far cry from her usually impeccable presentation. "You!" she screamed, pointing a manicured finger directly at Marcus. "What did you do to my car?" Marcus didn't move. He stood perfectly still in the open garage, surrounded by half-restored motorcycles and precision tools. His stance was military precise, his gaze unwavering. "I'm not sure what you mean," he responded coolly. "Is there a problem?" Vanessa's face contorted. "My SUV is dead. Completely dead. 4 mechanics. Thousands of dollars in diagnostics. And you're standing there acting like nothing happened." The neighborhood had gone silent. Marcus could see curtains switching and neighbors peeking out their windows. This was a performance, and they were the unwitting audience. "Perhaps," Marcus said, his voice calm and measured, "you might recall our previous conversations about blocking my garage. The numerous times you parked your vehicle in a way that completely obstructed my property." Vanessa's rage momentarily stuttered. She hadn't expected a direct reference to her previous behavior. Marcus continued, "I have a documented trail. Text messages, photographs, timestamps of every single instance you've blocked my garage access. Each time I politely asked you to move. Each time you ignored me." He pulled out a tablet, swiping through a meticulously organized folder. Time-stamped images showed her SUV at impossible angles, blocking his driveway. Text message exchanges that demonstrated her complete disregard for neighborly courtesy. "The Homeowners Association," Marcus said quietly, "might find this documentation very interesting." Vanessa's bravado began to crack. She suddenly looked smaller, less intimidating. The realization was dawning that Marcus wasn't just another neighbor to bulldoze. "You can't prove anything," she stammered, but the words lacked her previous conviction. Marcus smiled, a dangerous, calculated expression that suggested he was 3 moves ahead in a chess game she didn't even know she was playing. "Prove what?" he asked innocently. "That your extremely expensive vehicle suddenly stopped working? How unfortunate." The gauntlet had been thrown, and Marcus knew this was far from over. The Homeowners Association hearing was a masterpiece of Marcus's strategic planning. Each piece of evidence was presented with surgical precision, timestamped photographs, documented communication attempts, a comprehensive laud of Vanessa's repeated garage blockades. What truly sealed her fate was Marcus's ultimate checkmate. He revealed that Vanessa had violated not just neighborly courtesy, but multiple local ordinances. Her repeated blocking of his property access was technically a violation of municipal parking regulations. The digital evidence he collected was irrefutable. The hearing's outcome was devastating for Vanessa. She was formally cited, required to pay substantial fines, and most importantly, issued a strict warning about future parking violations. Her real estate license came under review, with the association recommending a formal investigation into her professional conduct. Her SUV, after weeks of diagnostic nightmares, would require a complete computer system replacement, a repair that would cost more than $15,000. Insurance would cover only a fraction, leaving her with a massive out-of-pocket expense. Marcus never explicitly admitted to his electronic sabotage. He didn't need to. The evidence spoke for itself. In the months that followed, Vanessa sold her house and moved away. The neighborhood whispered about her downfall, how a single dispute with the wrong neighbor had unraveled her carefully constructed life. Marcus returned to his motorcycle restorations, his garage now permanently accessible. He made his point without lifting more than his carefully calculated technological finger. Some lessons he knew were best learned quietly, with precision, strategy, and an unwavering commitment to justice. The garage stood as a testament to his victory, peaceful, unobstructed, and completely under his control.